Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Terry Goddolds, and I'm the Director of Programming for the Center for Global Education, as well as a high school mathematics teacher at Queen Elizabeth High School in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It is a pleasure to have you all on board as we begin our journey called the RCMP Talks, a series of national conversations, and we are so very pleased to have you all joining us right from coast to coast in Canada as we engage with the RCMP and youth all across Canada about these so very important series of conversations. In today's webinar, we're going to be introducing our partners, talking about some of the schools, looking at the virtual classroom. This is the medium that your students are going to go online and share their blogs and discussion boards and the like, as well as ending it with a video conference technology, talking about what we're going to use in order to see each other on the big day of May the 13th. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to start off with saying thank you to our partners. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for the vision of the RCMP to reach and engage youth all across Canada in new and innovative ways. So thank you very much, RCMP, for making this happen and facilitating the dialogue across Canada. And the Center for Global Education and Taking It Global are the technology and education partners who are going to be all work together to make it happen. So a little bit of the timeline. The National Support Line now has been open for just over a week, and we've had the privilege of working with a few of you to help you get online and to get started. Last week we had our first webinar, and then on the 22nd we have our second webinar, and this is where we basically go over this exact same content, except you have an opportunity to stop me and ask questions. Now, if you need more clarification after this video, when you're unable to join us on the 22nd, please do feel free to give us a call or an email, and we'll make sure that we get you all set up and ready to go. Very important pieces, ladies and gentlemen, that we do not leave it to the last minute. We know how technology is, and if we ever leave it to the last minute, it lets us down. So I would implore you, make sure you give yourself lots of time and your technical support people lots of time to help make this happen. One important change here, the virtual classroom, which we'll talk about in a second. The original date we had was the 23rd, which is this Wednesday. Now, unfortunately, that's actually 3 weeks before the event, and we don't actually want the collaboration to start 3 weeks. We wanted to start 2 weeks before the event. And the reason for that is if we know from past experience, if we have it up for 3 weeks, some students are going to get involved right on the 23rd and start posting. But many students are not going to until 2 weeks or even a week before the event. And then all the students who post first are going to get a little disappointed because no one's going to read their work and give them that feedback. So we're encouraging students and schools to hold off for one more week until April 30th is when we're going to launch the classroom. And then the big day we're all looking forward to is May 13th. And this is where the Impaired and Distracted Driving event, live and interactive, coast to coast. We have some brilliant guests who are going to be sharing their stories, but most importantly, your students are going to be sharing and talking about the great work that they're doing to help move this awareness campaign forward. So ladies and gentlemen, you'll see right here is the URL that we're going to be connecting to. Now, when you go to that URL, you're going to see the page that is just below, and it asks for a registration code. And what you enter there is Go Global. And as soon as you click on that, you're going to be brought to the member account sign-in. Now, I realize this is a little bit of a hassle, but the reason we have so many steps to go through is that we do take your student security very seriously. And although it's quite easy to set up a blog just for a classroom, there are quite a few more technicalities that need to be accounted for with respect to student information when we go all the way across the country. So we do have quite a bit of security, and thus the steps that are in place. So after you enter the registration code, you come to this and you register for Taking It Global, after which you'll be brought through to this screen right here. And this screen is where is the front page of the virtual classroom. It has announcements, you can see a Twitter feed that's there, you can get to know all the different participants, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this page, you'll see this is where you'll find the blog postings. Now, if you missed any of this, all the instructions are repeated again in the teacher guide that was also sent to you earlier. Now, on the virtual classroom, not only have we sent you a copy of the written notes, but we also have here a copy of the actual activities for each of them. And you'll see each of these ones here are actually hyperlinks. And on that hyperlink, you'll be able to have every link that you need is all contained right within this site. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go and search the internet. You just send your kids to this site and they have everything they need in order to make it happen. Now, a central, incredibly important part of this conference is the blogs. Now, the reason for this is all the other material, we know you're very busy. So we have 3 activities that are laid out for you, but we understand if you don't have time to make your way through the entire activities. What we would ask of every school, though, is that they do the blog postings. All right, so when you come to the blog postings, you simply click on this one here, post a blog, and this is where you'll respond and put the information in that your students are going to be sharing. And this is where the national dialogue takes place, where youth from coast to coast are posting blogs and getting into their thoughts about the campaigns that they want to make happen and how distracted and impaired driving is affecting their communities. And we want the students to read the blogs from all across Canada and be inspired to take further action. Now, once you're on the blog page, in order for you to go back to the very beginning, you click on this blue hyperlink right there, and then that will bring you back to the home page. So during the day of the event, we're going to be connecting on May 13th via video conferencing. Now, the video conferencing technology is 3 options. You can use H323 video conferencing, which some schools have. And if you don't have that, then the same technology you used today to connect to the webinar, you can also use to connect to the event on the 13th. All you need is speakers, microphone, and a webcam. And ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, please test. Not the day of, not even the day before. I would ask that you would test at least a week before the event to make sure that everything is okay. To tell you the truth, I would recommend you test as soon as possible. We know I work in a school every single day. I know how much of a challenge it is for the network people to come in and to make any accommodations to the network that need to be made. So I would implore you to please get this done as soon as possible and give your tech people enough time to make sure that your firewalls and the like are open so that you can connect. The final option is to connect with the Jabber technology, which will enable you to do the same as with the other pieces. It's just another option. The video is a little bit better, and all the instructions you need are going to actually be in the email that contains this webinar. Now, that is all the slides for today. If you have any questions, feel free to email us there. There is the Twitter hashtag. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that if your students are not currently set up with Twitter, that they do get on Twitter. If you can, I realize that not all districts allow that kind of technology, but it's going to be a very important tool for collaborating throughout the entire event. Last thing I want to say is there is a second webinar attached to this, and this one goes a little bit more in depth, walks you through the actual sign up on the virtual classroom with a couple more details there. So if you would like to join me for that webinar, I'd love to see you over there in a couple of minutes. I'm looking forward to getting to know you all, and make sure you feel free to contact us if you have any concerns, and we'd love to help you out. So once again, we're looking forward to the great work that you and your students are going to do over the coming weeks, and we're looking forward to seeing you online on April 30th as your students begin to post the work that they have done. Have a great day and a great week, everyone. Goodbye.